A man knocked down his basement wall and found a city, 18 floors, straight down. In 1963, in a village in central Turkey, a man was renovating his house. His chickens kept disappearing into a crack in the basement wall, so he took a sledgehammer to it. Behind the wall was a room he hadn't built. Behind that room, a passage. The passage became a stairway, and the stairway went down and kept going down, floor after floor, cut through solid rock, further than his lamp could reach. He had broken into Derinkuyu, an underground city of 18 levels, descending 85 meters, deep enough to swallow a 10-story building, with stables, kitchens, wine presses, a school and space, by most estimates, for 20,000 people. A city built for one purpose, to not be found. Which leaves the obvious question, what were they hiding from? Derinkuyu isn't a cave system, it's architecture, just subtracted instead of built. The volcanic tuff of Cappadocia is soft enough to carve with hand tools, but hardens on contact with air. Perfect material for a secret. And the engineering says its builders expected sieges. More than 50 ventilation shafts thread the complex, so deep air stays breathable for thousands of people and their livestock. A protected well guards the water supply from poisoning, and the corridors, deliberately low, narrow, single file, pass through checkpoints where half-ton stone wheels sit in slots, ready to roll across and seal a level from the inside. Each floor could be closed off like a submarine compartment. Stables on the upper levels. Grain stores, oil presses, kitchens with soot-blackened ceilings, and chimneys that vent kilometers away, so no column of smoke betrays the city. Every detail is the same sentence. We are here, and you will never know. And the deeper the tunnels go, the older they get. So who digs a city-sized panic room? The honest answer, layers of civilizations, and we can't see the bottom one. The earliest carved levels may go back to the Phrygians, nearly 3,000 years ago. Some argue the Hittites before them. Around 370 BC, the Greek soldier Xenophon marched through Anatolia and wrote matter-of-factly about people living in excavated houses underground with their livestock. Proof the tradition was already old when Alexander the Great was a child. But Derinkuyu's great expansion came with the Byzantines, in the centuries when Arab raiding armies swept across Cappadocia almost seasonally. The pattern repeated for 1,000 years, through raid after raid, war after war. Lookouts on the surface, a signal and an entire population, village, animals, food, faith, folding itself into the earth and rolling the doors shut. There are chapels down there. People didn't just survive underground. They kept being a community. The deepest levels have never been fully mapped, because Derinkuyu is not alone down there. Because here's where Derinkuyu stops being a marvel and becomes a mystery of scale. It isn't alone. A tunnel, kilometers long, is believed to link it to Kaymaklı, the next underground city, implying coordination between whole hidden settlements. Across Cappadocia, more than 200 underground complexes have been found. Archaeologists suspect the real number is far higher because the region keeps proving them right. In 2014, demolition work for a housing project at Nevşehir broke into yet another underground city that early surveys suggested may rival or exceed Derinkuyu. Start naming them, and the ground under Cappadocia gets crowded fast. Özkanak, found in 1972 when a farmer wondered where his field's water kept draining. Smaller than Derinkuyu, but fitted with something it lacks. Narrow pipes drilled through the rock so defenders could speak between sealed levels, and holes above the passages for pouring hot oil on anyone forcing them. Mazır with its cliff face entrances and rolling stone doors. Tatlarin with frescoed chapels cut into the dark. Gaziemir, which had room for camels, an underground way station, some argue, on a trade road. And at Kaymaklı, villagers still use the coolest upper chambers as cellars for lemons and potatoes, which means parts of the system have never actually stopped working. Here's the detail that should stop you. These cities took centuries to cut. The tool marks in the tunnels change style from level to level. Generations of diggers who never met, who spoke different languages and prayed to different gods, kept extending the same design. Low corridors, sealed doors, hidden vents, as if the plan itself was the thing being inherited. Even the numbers we quote are honest guesses, and archaeologists are the first to say so. That figure of 20,000 people comes partly from arithmetic. How much air the ventilation shafts could move, how much grain the storerooms could hold, how many bodies the floors could sleep. Some researchers think it's too generous, that a few thousand villagers, plus their animals, is closer to the truth, and the rest of the space was food, fodder, and margin for a siege of unknown length. Dating is just as slippery. Carved rock holds no layers to read, so researchers date these cities sideways. Soot on kitchen ceilings, potsherds swept into corners, the style of a cross carved in a chapel wall. Which is why the modern tools matter. Ground-penetrating radar and geophysical surveys around Nave Shehir have traced galleries running far beyond the excavated chambers, corridors the instruments can see, but no one has entered. The maps keep growing at the edges, and the archaeologists' own suspicion is the humbling part. After 60 years of digging, we may still be standing on the upper floors of the whole system. Think about what that means. This isn't one desperate refuge. It's a civilization-long strategy sustained across cultures and centuries. An entire landscape that learned to live in two layers, one visible, one deniable. The surface layer got conquered again and again. The underlayer never surrendered because it was never found. How much is still unfound? Nobody can say. Soft rock, sealed entrances, and 3,000 years of people with very good reasons to keep secrets. The honest answer is that Cappadocia is still holding out on us. Derinkuyu survived because it did the one thing cities never do. It chose to be invisible. No walls to breach, no skyline to burn. When trouble came, it simply wasn't there. But some of the ancient world's secrets weren't hidden on purpose. They were lost in transit. In 1900, sponge divers sheltering from a storm off a tiny Greek island found a shipwreck full of bronze and marble. In the corroded lumps, decades later, someone noticed gear wheels. Precision gear wheels, from a machine built more than 2,000 years ago, so far ahead of its time that nothing like it appears again for 14 centuries. It's called the Antikythera mechanism. That story is next. And if tonight's mystery held you, a like helps more people find the deep past, and subscribing brings you a new story every week. I'll see you down there.